My question is, many races are won or lost through a crazy Alaphilippe style move, 1 kilometer from the finish, where on tired legs, you suddenly put in a sprint to get a gap on the group. And you then have to hold a lot of power down to stay in front of them all the way until the finish line. This might be a 200% effort followed by 2 or 3 minutes at like 130 or 140% FTP, something like that, and going deep into the red and try not to explode. So his question, what energy systems are used and how to best train these sort of moves? Amber. You're the pro racer here.
The part that I want to dig into is not the specific energy systems, and we can get into that, but I want to point out that these moves are usually successful not only because of the fitness level of the athlete that's making the move, but primarily because of the tactics that are evolving in the group as a whole. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that, in order to increase your odds of making a move like this work, yes, you need to be fit enough in order to execute the move. That's kind of your ticket to entry. But what's going to make the move successful is whether it's a tactically savvy move in context of what's happening in the race. So this is this move is commonly successful in fields where you have a big disparity in fitness. And that would be kind of beginner categories where people are coming into the sport at very different levels of fitness and experience. That disparity kind of gets a little bit narrower as you move up in categories. But if you're coming into the finish with a smaller group and you don't have the whole peloton, chances are it's a group of individuals. And so there's no teammates working for each other. So nobody in that group really wants to do the work of chasing down a move. That's an ideal tactical context to launch a move like this, because nobody wants to do the work to chase. And if you're the first one to go, everyone's going to be looking at everyone else like, you chase, because they don't want to be the one to bridge the gap for someone else. Mm-hmm. So this is one of those rare times where being the first person to attack can actually be an advantage. But again, this is all context dependent. So if you come to the finish and you're in a small group and there's 2 or 3 people on the same team, it's a very different scenario, because now you have possibly 1 or 2 people who are willing to sacrifice themselves for their teammate. So it's really important to evaluate the tactical situation. And the tactical component of this that's really important is the hesitation of the people who would chase you down. What are some ways that you can create a situation or a scenario that would enable that kind of hesitation? Well, element of surprise is one of them. So if you're coming into the finish in a smaller group that's been reduced throughout the race, positioning at the back of the group is really important, because you can read everybody's body language. And if someone's about to go, you can read that and go with them. Or if you attack from the back of that smaller group, and again, don't attack from the back of like a group of 50 or 30 or even 20, that's probably not a good idea. But if you're coming in a small group of less than 10 and you attack from the back of the group, by the time you enter someone's peripheral vision, you're already at top speed. So they then have to accelerate from a lower speed to match your speed and actually get faster than you in order to bridge that gap. And even that split second of hesitation can be enough to give you the advantage that you need to make the move successful. So just a brief rundown of some of the tactics that can play into this, but I would strongly recommend that you keep in mind, if you want to make this move stick, you have to make sure that it's going to be a tactically sound move and time it appropriately.
Talking about this from that perspective of trying to better your odds or find the best odds to make something like this work, the way that I try to think of it is, if you can get your surrounding group to reach consensus, then you have a constant to work against. Otherwise, there's too many variables. So like, what does this actually look like in a race? When you are in a group and you have a bunch of athletes and one attacks, and then they give up because everybody kind of chases, and then another person attacks. You just have that going on until the group decides, okay, nothing's going away, or until the group decides we're going to go faster. You have a lot of variables that are very far out of your control. So for you to put like some sort of big effort down that's actually going to have detrimental consequences later on in the race, that doesn't make sense. What you want to do is, once you have a group that actually has kind of decided how the race is going to be, you have to be the sort of person that makes the apparently foolish move. Mm-hmm. But if it's apparently foolish, or if it's just timed right, so that everybody is fatigued to a certain point, or everybody's just like, I'm tired of everybody attacking, let's reset for a bit. It's just, you need to make the sort of move that looks foolish. And if you have a group that's all agreed upon with a certain thought or preconceived notion, then you can really play against that and make it work. So if you look at like Alaphilippe, I bet his, like, in terms of the athlete that he is, absolutely world class and possibly unprecedented, right? Like the stuff he can do on a bike is absolutely amazing, but it's his timing that is very, very good, and his ability to read a race. And that's why he has so many of these moves where somebody sends in a question, they even brand it the Alaphilippe move, right? Is because he does this so often because he's very good at reading the race. If you look at it, he's not often the sort of rider that in our local races, you might be able to attack and hurt the field, and then one of your attacks sticks. He knows that that's probably not going to work really well at the pro level when he's racing against Wout van Aert, Mathieu van der Poel, and all these incredible athletes. So instead, he knows that he just has to observe and take in everything and constantly weigh that. And if you look, he's very good at attacking once consensus has been reached, and then he flips the script with whatever move he does. And then when that happens, everybody thinks, oh, it's foolish, or they're too tired to even think of attacking. And he has the fitness to be able to back up those foolish, in quotes, moves,
Yeah, it's top level tactical acumen. And he's got what very few riders have, but we're starting to see, Van Aert's got it, Van der Poel's got it. There are other riders who are capable of it. Sagan's particularly good at it as well, but they holster their weapon. They don't fire off a bunch of rounds and then hope that, that one round is going to be the magical one. They've got, I don't know, something that shoots one round, but it shoots a big round, more like a hunting rifle as opposed to a revolver. And they wait and they deploy it at the right time. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's pretty clear that the tactics are definitely trainable. The strategy is something that can be analyzed, but you can also look at this from the physiological side of things. So if you recognize this is the sort of rider you want to be, this is the sort of tactic you want to employ, then you got to train your anaerobic work capacity, or your anaerobic power, W prime, if you're a critical power person. But this can be trained, and it trains up really quickly, but it has to be trained in a specific manner. So you may see efforts done at 140, 150% earlier in base and definitely in build phase. But when it comes to specialty, you might see those same sort of efforts, but you're going to see a heck of a lot of recovery between them, because we're trying to shift the demand from the aerobic system to the anaerobic system, really tax that system, let it recover really well so that we can do it highly productively again in the same workout. So this is a differentiator. You might see anaerobic looking efforts, but because they're closely stacked, it's pretty much aerobic in nature as the set goes on. But when you see those big breaks between it, and you'll see this in a specialty phase, we're trying to train up a particular capability so that you can use it in situations just like this. And then if we take the physiology just a step further and look at it from a strategic perspective, I attended a presentation a while back where they actually charted the depletion of phosphocreatine. So that really limited energy source, really important for punches like what we're describing right here, because once it depletes, and getting it back in the heat of battle isn't going to happen. So you have to play it really well. And they showed what happens when a sprinter who's being led out has to duck out to change position, maybe loses his lead out or her lead out and has to find a way back in, or just, things happen that they have to deal with, and it spends some of their power and that little bit, or some of this energy resource, and that little bit of effect carries much, much farther reaching effects as they get closer to the line. I mean, it can be the difference between someone who sprints really well for 250 meters, only having a 150 meter sprint at the point, but they still initiate at 250 and they peter out early. No surprise to anybody. They didn't play it strategically as well as they could have.
I'm going to piggyback. I'm pretty much going to say what Amber said in just a different way. But so 1K from the finish, I'm going to question you, Ray. Attack 1K from the finish is never a crazy move. It is always a threat. Crazy moves like you're 100K out and you attack. And there are times where people go, oh, that's crazy. They'll never make it. And they do. But 1K out, it's always a crazy move. And it's you have to have hesitation. If there is no hesitation, you can't make it. But if you get hesitation, then you can make it. And the ways are, as Amber said, knowing our teammates. So if there are teammates and teammates that are willing, that are fresh, it's probably not going to work. Or there's such a fitness disparity where someone can bridge and then still beat the people behind. And they know that, right? That, hey, I can cover this and still win. It is when you go, and especially if you can have a huge speed differential from coming from the back, if everyone else thinks that if I cover this move, I will get last place in this group of 5 or 6 people. And they all do that. And that takes 2 seconds. Then you've won, right? As long as you can pace your effort right and you have the ticket. It just takes 2 seconds. And that's enough. Because then every second that'll last longer, they all say, well, now I'm really going to lose. Like that chance to be able to cover and make it goes down and down and down. And they're just hoping that someone else takes it. And you can be lucky where the group waits like 4 seconds. You wait 4 seconds and somebody goes. Then they get kind of close enough and then you go. That is like the best situation, I think. And you can do a little bridge, and then you get a gap, and you can kind of slingshot past the person who is dying at the end. Like they give you a draft into the finish. But if being the person who does this kind of move, it's big speed differential, especially I was thinking of, I forget one of the crits in like Central California, but it was a 35 plus Cat 4 race or something, my last one. And they were coming in the last lap at like 17 miles per hour. Everyone was just thinking about a sprint. I don't know why everyone was going so slow. And you can see me, I actually gave like a 30-foot gap of a group of like 30 people because they were going so slow. And I came by them at like 28, 29 miles per hour. And nobody chased. You come by at that speed, everyone goes, oh, okay, that's gone. It's not going to happen. And
it's that consensus, right? Everybody was kind of in the same mindset. So you just flip the script, right? Like the other thing that I think of with this is that pro racing is different than amateur racing. And I know every race is different, but there are certain consistencies that are like, you know, when you are racing like Amber was, you're with truly a world-class field. Whereas a lot of us that are listening to this when we race, we're not against a world-class field, right? And so as a result, it changes things. We may not have teams that are really cooperative and functioning together really well. There are consistent principles that you can use across both scenarios, but context matters so much. And this is why racing, and when you're talking about race strategy, the reason that context matters so much is because it's all based on relativity. It's you versus another person, right? Or you versus the elements or a thought that a person has. So this is why you have to be in these scenarios all the time. And that's why, you know, when I really like watching races, like when Chad and I watch races together, it's cool because Chad has a lot more racing nous than I do. So I'm able to kind of listen to and see what he sees. And it's really helpful. It's cool to really like get to know racers that have a lot of experience that aren't just, you know, like sipping their own Kool-Aid and think that they're the best and without, you know, without chink in the armor, so to speak. But the athletes that are just like, yeah, I've seen this sort of, they've seen a lot of things. And as a result, they're able to break a lot down. That's just really helpful. Like Amber as well. So so much fun. I miss racing so bad.
I know we haven't talked about this for a while. I want Amber's opinion on this, but I think the best thing too, 1K to go, let's say it's me and John. I attack with 1K to go and John's in the pack of like 5. I think that makes it so much more likely for the group to go, oh, we're just going to pull John up. We know John can sprint. And I think the likelihood then of one of us winning is not extremely high, but a lot higher than even a lead out at the end where then John has to go head to head with some other sprinter that could be on his wheel. What do you think about that, Amber, in that situation?
I really like that tactic because you are hedging your bets in a really nice way. One is you're discouraging people from chasing because of John's presence. So it gives you it increases your odds of making that move stick. And if somebody decides to ignore the fact that John's there and chase you, John gets a free ride across that gap and he's in a perfect position to counterattack, at which point you're blown and it's left to a group of individuals to decide if they want to chase John down. And he can be positioned toward the back of that group. So he does exactly what you did by accelerating from the back. So now, you know, unless they were really savvy and anticipating his move, which they should, but if they don't, then he has a really good chance of making his move stick. So I think that that's a really smart way to set it up for sure.
Coming to a race analysis near you.
If racing doesn't come back soon, I'm going to start like Dungeons and Dragons, but bike racing. And like, we'll do it via Zoom. And like, Nate will be like, Jonathan just attacked. And then we'll have to decide.
Roll the dice.
Just something, man. I miss it.
I think it's coming back in NorCal.
Match.
Before people message us, someone just messaged me the other day. There's some races now coming back.
That's great. I just missed that chess match. There's something about it that's so like, I mean, it's mentally challenging, but there's something really addicting about It's probably the danger, all those other things going up, that adrenaline and everything that we're experiencing, but then solving a problem amidst that. Yeah, it's good brain candy for sure.
If you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up.
If you didn't like this video, you can give it a thumbs down, but let us know what you would have done differently in the comments below.
If you want to see more of these videos, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to become a faster cyclist, check out TrainerRoad.com.
Do it.
If you think I have better hair than Jonathan, give it a thumbs up. If not, leave a comment.
My hair is better than his.